What's up everyone and welcome to Ola Testing Shit. Today I'm trying out two different Synergy power amplifiers and I'm going to compare the EL84 tubes versus 6L6 tubes. If you haven't heard about Synergy, it's basically a modular amplifier solution where you can have different preamps just like this one right here, and you can combine different preamps with each other for a big size head, a rack or whatever, and then there's power amplifiers, and in this case two amplifiers where you can load in one preamp module. I already made a test of the Synergy 20 IR, which is a great unit. It has a lot of features that I'm looking for in a live amplifier. However, the power amplifier section is powered by EL84s. For when playing live or for when cranking live, it has some shortcomings, I would say, compared to a full-size head with 6L6 power amp tubes, for instance. With EL84, you can cramp more things into a smaller space, being able to make amplifiers smaller, because then also the transformers are smaller and all the extra components are just smaller as well. And beneath the 20 IR is the Synergy 30, which is also exactly like the Synergy 20 IR, a power amplifier you can put in your module into, except that it's running on 6L6 power amp tubes and a bigger transformer, bigger components. The Synergy 20 is supposedly 20 watts, the Synergy 30 is supposedly 30 watts. So I'm gonna compare these today using the same module, the same settings, and maybe we can discuss later. How about that? For this video, I'm using the Powerball module. It's excellent, okay? And I'm gonna compare these two and then give you a little conclusion. And obviously these two amplifiers were designed a little bit different, where the 20 IR has a couple of extra options with structure and whatnot. It doesn't have a presence, but it has a reactance. Or does it have? No, it does not have a presence. It has a reactance knob, and this one has a regular presence knob. So you can't really directly compare like this, but in my opinion, I just want to compare the dynamics in between the two amplifiers, okay? All right, changing channel. And, it sounds great. All right, that was a little bit of that right there. Now I'm gonna change the amplifier and the module as well, of course. Using the same speaker cabinet, the same microphones. The only difference is the power amplifier, okay? I think that I might actually be making these videos mainly for myself. I think I just wanna justify I'm doing and thinking correctly. I kinda wanna, how would I call it? Like, I just wanna confirm my beliefs that, a real tube power amplifier with full-size power amp tubes sound better dynamically. That's why I'm doing this. But that's why I'm also doing this test, because you never know, man. You never know. All right, now we're playing the power amp module in the Synergy 30. Just hearing these two amplifiers back to back, I'm gonna try and explain what I feel in the room, because what you're gonna hear through the microphones might not necessarily reflects what I'm telling you I'm feeling in the room. But just from going back and forth with this Synergy 20 IR is a freaking amazing unit, you know, with all the extras and the impulse response out and all that. I just feel that this is not going to be able to hold up when I play live with the Honda, because I need to crank my amplifiers. And the problem with cranking this is that, or comparing when you crank the Synergy 20 versus when you're cranking the Synergy 30, is that when I crank the Synergy 20 IR, it feels like at some point, you know, everything gets cranked in the whole frequency register, but at some point, you know, it doesn't evenly boost. So you get a full frequency range right here, you go up, and the more you crank, it kind of, you know, it eventually, most of the volume gets pushed. It's going to be mids at some point. You feel like at some point you lose dynamics, and it's going to feel a lot more squashed in that sense. Now, if you prefer that, that's great. But with the Synergy 30 and the full-size 606 Poweramp tubes, I feel like I get a lot more dynamics when I crank the signal. That's it. It just has a lot more headroom. I feel that the bass and the high end is tagging along when you crank the amplifier. And it just feels way more open and way less squashed. And I can crank it way louder because of this. Doesn't mean that EL84 is shit or anything. It is really good for making small amplifiers to be able to play at home, but not sure if it would cut it when I play live with the Honda or rehearse with the Honda. Even we play so freaking loud. But truth be told, I don't even think the Synergy 30 would be enough for me when I'm playing live with the Honda, because I do crank that shit loud. Even though I'm using in-ears, you know, the other guys want to have loud amplifiers on stage and all that, I need at least 50. Man, even the 50 is almost too little sometimes, it feels like. So that's my little comparison video for you right there. That's it. That's all I wanted to show and discuss about. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section. Maybe you have like a Synergy 20 or an EL84 amplifier that fits you so well when you're rehearsing. That's great. But for me, I need more. I need more, man. There you go. Hope you liked this video. I'll see you soon, okay? Goodbye. All right, as I'm standing here listening to the results of the recording, I actually kind of think for recording aspect, the IR20 actually might work better because of its squashing of, you know, the low end and the high end. It's almost like a natural compressor. Without any compressor work, would probably fit better for a recording or a mix. But remember that for me personally, this is about playing live, cranking live, and push the amplifier to its limit. With the EL84s, you get a little bit more of a boomy low end. The low end doesn't follow the cranking of the amplifier. That's with the the 606 amplifier. But keep that in mind for recording and fitting something into a mix. You know, Synergy 20 is actually working really, really well. Just wanted to add that to the equation. Ha!